Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series on media skills. This series is produced under the grants provided by Department of Information and Public Relations, Government of Karnataka, in association with Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Karnataka State Akka Women's University, Vijayapura. Today we have with us Shri.M.B.Jayaram. He will be delivering a lecture on the topic Public Relations. M.B.Jayaram, hailing from Dakshin Kannada district of Karnataka, is a master degree holder in journalism from the University of Mysore. He started his career as a journalist from Deccan Herald Group in Bangalore. He produced 2 Kannada award-winning films and 28 Kannada TV serials. He also acted in 6 movies and 21 TV serials. He also works in Jindal Group for nearly 1 year as a liaison officer. He joined Karnataka Power Corporation as a PR manager in 1980 and continued to work in KPCL for 33 years in various capacities such as General Manager, Corporate Communicator, Executive Director and PR Officer. Government of Karnataka appointed him as the Communication Advisor to the then CM of Karnataka, Shri S.M. Krishna. Seeing his committed service to the PR industry, soon after his retirement, National Thermal Corporation Limited (GOI) appointed him as a communicator advisor. He has been awarded more than 25 awards at state, national and international levels. He was the president of Rotary Club and Roundtable India. He was also the national president of PRSI. He founded Public Relations Council of India (PRCI) in 2004. His own brainchild PRCI has now 40 chapters in the country and 4 international chapters. Later, he started Young Communicators Club YCC for the youngsters as a unit of PRCI. He is presently the chairman of the governing body of World Communicators Council WCC and Board of Studies member of few universities. Mr. Jayaram has more than 44 years of experience in communication field. He is also known as Bhishma of PR in close circles. Now I welcome Shri M.B. Jayarama to deliver a lecture on public relations. Thank you.
Namaste. I have been practicing corporate communication and public relations for more than 40 plus years. I will try to give you an idea of the complex subject communication. It is a very vast subject to speak, but firstly let me tell something to learn about the terms of communication. This word encompasses all that is written, orally told, visually conveyed and successfully put forward. For any communication to be complete, there should be a sender and a receiver. The connection between two is established by the media which carries the message. For communication to be complete, there should be a perfect understanding or misunderstanding. Then it is not a communication. For example, if I speak to you in a language that you cannot understand or else, then it is not proper communication. It is some foreign language, it is not communication at all. All are aware that food, clothing and shelter are basic necessities of human beings. But is it possible to lead a life without communication? No. I am sure to lead a normal life for all social animals, there is a need of the 4th factor, that is communication. Before I start the specific areas of PR and communication studies, the future, I wish to say few words on another theme which is core to all of you, that is knowledge and education. The acquisition of knowledge is but the beginning. Can anybody here tell me the difference between the knowledge and education? Okay, let me tell you all the difference between these two. What you are going to learn here in this vicinity or in your college is knowledge, and how you are going to learn is education. That education is fostered by good communication. It is not so much what you have learnt, but how you have learned, that is very important at the end. That is why people select good knowledge based institutions like Akka Women's University or your own colleges, etc., for your career growth. We live in a knowledge based society where today's information architecture, as evidenced by the internet, has somewhat diminished by the role of knowledge acquisition. Knowledge is more freely available to individuals than there before. Knowledge is the ultimate renewable sources. However, the fact remains that it is a competitive world. No matter what the truth of the matter is, that if you are not, you will do well in your life. If you are not good enough, you will have to learn further. You are become a graduate maybe this year or after 2 years in this vicinity, but reality learning never stops. The person who has ability to keep learning will always stay ahead of the competition. The practical knowledge of education, which you have already experienced here through proper communication, will make you to face any challenges and move ahead. Learning never stops. Incidentally, for a student and practitioners in communication, information is what the raw material, the end product is knowledge. How are you going to ensure this? Like electricity, this information does not seep away and leave behind residue of knowledge. Communication technology has paved the way for a better world. The television is no longer a novelty. Every corner of the India has been covered. People are informed of the most recent happenings within seconds. Considering the present crisis COVID-19 across the world, we can see more clearly now this spectacular speed in which speed of evidence during 21st century has presented challenges after challenges to long expect and even reward customs. The biggest impact of this has been on the media. There are a lot of things happening on the national and international front. The economy is flattering and opportunity may not as much as would want it to be. Let me come back to the quality of education. It is always a great pleasure to interact with the young minds like you. You are all part of privileged generation having access the quality education. In the past, business was largely in the hands of few communities and families throughout the world. After the mergers of joint stock companies saw the evolution of professional breed of managers starting from the East India Company, which ultimately rules in India. But today transnational corporations employ thousands of professional managers and network operation throughout this globe. Business is run by a professional managers worldwide, maybe family business or a corporate business. They have to really on professionals for running their business who have the communication skills actually. So, it is very important to, in the present era, to learn the basics of communication skills. However, the fact remains that there is a competitive world ahead. No matter what the truth of the matter is, that if you are good expert communicator, you will do in well in your life. If you are not good enough, you will have to learn further. Your graduate from this college or this vicinity is in reality learning never stops, and the person who has an ability to keep learning the communication skills will always have set ahead in the competition. Students of communications, PR or journalism and other allied subjects, let me tell you that a very interesting subject to students of communication, PR, journalism and others, let me tell you that you have chosen a very interesting area of work. And while journalism seems to be a glamorous field, the truth is that it is challenging and demanding. Public relations it is my own area of specialization, is a favorite topic of mine. Let me say to you all that while PR is a special field, no matter what other areas to work, you might be involved in, it is important to have PR skills. Students of PR communication, let me say that you will be dealing with the people and their brains. You have an opportunity to make or break them by your approach, people or company. Communicate your ideas, plans, half of your job is done. When you see a smile in their face, your job is totally done. Time and sense, knowledge of psychology of mind, audience is also needed to a proper to a communicator like you and a PR man. I love this PR work, and I am fortunate that I have been able to learn on the job and move ahead. If any of you are interested in PR, let me tell you, very good. You have got all the opportunity in PR field. The corporate sector are directly need of good professionals and might be able to do the magic if you join a corporate world. The noted American Emerson once said, in skating over thin ice, our safety is in our speed. Sorry. Perhaps in our increasingly interdependent world, our penchant for speed reflects our uncertainty regarding whether the values we share can support the structure of the modern life that is emerging, or whether in this respect we ourselves are asking skating on the thin ice. Let us speed up our work, but not our lives. Students aim for the stars and speed away to success, but do not forget to enjoy your life too, to also give time to others. Although there is much about this century which is difficult to predict, we can safely assume that science will continue to develop at a dizzying pace, creating new possibilities for us. We can also reliably predict that 21st century not only will present new issues to deal with, but will inherit older problems with which humankind has been struggling throughout record history. Many of these older issues will not be resolved by more scientific discoveries. Rather, they will instead require each of you to think deeply and carefully about the ethical boundaries that should govern our common life, and to exist your judgment when difficult and even tragic choices present themselves. For example, each of these young stars like you will have to think about the balance we should build between our own material welfare and the needs of those less fortunate than ourselves, and the balance between our concern for our families and concern about the broader communities of which we are members. Which brings me to the present unrest that faces the world. In the future of children and grandchildren will ask us when the world lies in ruins, what did you do to save this world, to stop this carnage, this war? How many of us are willing to look beyond our own well-being? We should and must do whatever we can to make a change for better through our proper communication techniques. I hope your years in this communication school, which it may be Akka Women's University or any place, gaining communication techniques from your teachers, your classmates, your hours in the library and the laboratory, or in the dark rooms, your movements of fellowship on and off the athletic field, and of solitary reflection have given each one of you the capacity, the confidence to face the public, and the courage to speak in a proper way that will need for your journey. As you leave this vicinity, I urge you to recall and say sage device when you leave from this college. Remember why you have come. Remember the day one of your entry to this knowledge temple, what you have learnt, how you have learnt. These are the very necessary thing one to any communicator, the need of the hour. Once a Cambridge professor once said, education is what left after the facts are forgotten. And then another great American professor has said very correctly for students that much of what you have learned is irrelevant in 10 years time, and therein lies the challenge of today's communication students. Keep learning the changes which happens daily and communicate it to properly to the general public. This is what I wanted to say at the and then come back to I will come back to the career development in and communication skills. To be successful in your career and personality too, you need to be an all rounder with the skills in everything from research and communication to writing and creativity. What is then communication skills? Most importantly, you will have to be a good communicator. You will not only need to be a confident speaker, but an excellent listener too. You have to be sensitive to suitable nuances in language and culture, because any job will involve communicating with a range of people across different medium. It may be social media, in person, or the telephone, or in writing, across different territories. You will need to be able to appreciate other people's priorities and pressures. Communication can be tricky at times, especially if you are in a situation where you need to communicate difficult topics or discuss hard to grasp ideas. There are many ways of communication can be made ineffective, and it is all too easy to let effective communication skills slip through the cracks. However, if you really want to make most of your life and you want certainly continuously strive to improve your relationship with others, with even with yourself, you must stay on top of your communicating games. Pay attention to how you communicate with others, and also pay attention how others communicate with you. One of the best ways to learn is by observing and then talking action, and also taking action on that. Being more aware will help you be more protective in your effective communication effort. And research in skills. As a student, you must keep up to speed with current affairs and enjoy learning about new markets. Being naturally inquisitive of current news, technology and market will keep you one step ahead than others. And writing skills. Writing engaging content or for clients, whether that is a guest article in a magazine or a case study or a press release. As students, if you have an excellent grammar and experience of writing a range of content from essays to be presentation and briefings, you will be able to hit the ground running. You will also need to have good attention to detail, which not only comes in handy when writing, but also proofing other people's work. This is a vital skill to have practically under pressure, and it is undependent good writing, research and communication. In international mindset, there has been an increased demand for language skills because of globalization of business. So, the more language a person has under his belt, the greater is the opportunity for international posting and new business. Therefore, there is a plenty of scope for graduates who are fluent in foreign languages to write foreign languages content and research industry news, not to mention the option for sabbaticals or exchange with the officers. And creativity. Being creative and being open for fresh ideas and lateral thinking can be a crucial skill to bring you to the career success, because others will not have that kind of capacity as your creativity. Sixth, embrace change and continue to understand new trends, the marketplace, rather than face the effects these later. Do not say no to opportunities just because you do not have all the competence required to succeed in the new role. Building new competence is the interesting requirement of today's world. The seventh is build soft skills, communication, intrapersonal negotiations, collaborations, etc., and develop your professional network within and outside your organization too. This is an important as having the strong technical capability. Well, these areas few steps which you can easily follow to be successful in your academic and professional life. This is what I wanted to say at the beginning. Any successful communication, you need to have few skills that are necessary for you. Mainly listening. Listening is one of the most important aspect of the communicator. Straight talking. You should not hide or anything. You have to talk straightly, which will give extra additional value for your communication skill. Non-verbal communication, as you all know. Stress management, emotional control, these are very necessary for a communicator. A good communicator, he will be successful always. These are very important when it comes to building a strong successful career. Communication skills are a set of activities that ultimately make a quality public performance. It is necessary for the business world and private life to understand better people and situations. It helps you to overcome diversities, build trust and respect, and create conditions for sharing creative ideas and solving problems in most of the cases. In the business world, many employees believe that proper internal communication can significantly increase employees' productivity. Though communication process seems to be simple, when we try to communicate with others, there is always a chance for a lack of understanding that might cause conflict and frustration in personal or professional life, in relation with other people too. So, there is a need for acquiring a strong communication skill. With that, you can better connect with your friends, bosses, colleagues and all outsiders too. Successful communication is far more than sharing information. It is also an understanding of feelings behind any information. One should understand you can communicate anything, anytime, anywhere, but behind that you should understand what kind of feelings the others will have. Once you omit certain things, you can't eat it back. When it is a fault, it is a fault, you can't get it back. So, when you talk or say something disseminating any information, you should be very careful. Successful communication can deepen the relation in personal life or professional life. In personal life, it can help us to understand people better and calculations that happens on daily basis. In a workplace also, communication skills of yours can clearly impact your business, bring solutions, drive change, motivate and impress others. For that, you have to improve your relations with employees, teamwork, decision making and interdepartmental communication at workplace is necessary, which always requires your friendly personality, adaptability, creativity, punctuality, social skills, intrapersonal communication, critical thinking and organizational behavior. These are all very important for being a PR person or a good communicator at workplace. Sometimes it will help to enable you to receive and send even negative things or send messages without creating any frustration or disruption of trust. So, the way you communicate must also have certain language or any, you have to see the situation and then disseminate your whatever communication you want to send. Employees today expect to be informed about business totally and all information of importance of the particular business. They expect the management to communicate regularly their role and goals and feedbacks on their work. So, employers also who manage to successfully communicate with their employees, the company values and business goals to their employees to increase the turnover rates. That is also one of the best techniques of the communication, dissemination of communication. Ask questions, listen actively, give feedback, slow empathy, watch your body language, build connections. These are all the values one should maintain. Good communication skills are essential to allow others and yourself to understand information more accurately and quickly. Poor communication skill lead to frequent misunderstandings and frustration. Essential components are source, message, channel, receiver, feedback, environment, context, interference. All these are necessary for a good communicator. Excellent written and verbal communication skills also necessary. See, when it reminds me how to become a good communicator, how to bring a good to bring a name for your so, I want to say one small example before concluding this business skills and all that. When I was in Karnataka Power Corporation, I am talking about 80s. You all know that there was no mobiles, the only communication was telephones. That was the only thing was available to any officers. See, Karnataka Power Corporation deals with the generation of power. What had happened one day, it was heavily raining. At a midnight, I get a call from one stranger. She was a lady. She was talking to me in harsh words. She was very much upset. I could able to get it from her voice. She was telling me, are you from power sector? I said yes, because I was fast asleep. She made me to get up at 12 o'clock in the midnight, and she was shouting at me that she has no current in her house. There is an important function is going on. I am really upset with this kind of current cuts and all that. What's happening and all that, because she had a very big problem with herself. I just listened to her patiently, though it was not, as you all know, I am from the power sector, but I am only the generator. See, the distribution is by KEB, the then KEB. Now it is Karnataka Transmission Corporation, and distribution is by ESCOMs. So, I can't tell her that I am not from the distribution side, and I would have put up the phone down, because it was 12 in the midnight. What I did was, I listened to her patiently, and I asked her, what is your problem, madam? I will try to help her. Then she started telling me that tomorrow morning my daughter's marriage, everyone is here, they are cooking, and suddenly current goes up, I can't do anything, it will be a mess tomorrow morning. And she was shouting, because without knowledge of that, I am not pertaining to that particular Karnataka Transmission Corporation, where my job is not there anyway. Because she has seen earlier, you used to get a big book, what do you call, directory of telephone numbers. She would have taken electricity board, she would have got the PR manager, so M.B.Jayaram or something like that. So, immediately she took the phone and spoke to me, but I did not say anything. I listened to her. She spoke to me very angered, harsh words she used and all that, but I just kept quiet. I was patiently listening to her, and then I told her, madam, sorry, I am not from that department, but I will try to help you out. Then she told me all the problems. Then I gave her some numbers of electricity board. You have to contact this guy, this executive engineer, this guy, that guy, and all that. Then what had happened, she said thanks and kept the phone down. Again, half an hour back, again I went to sleep. I got another call from her, but the sea change I could able to grasp. She was very polite. Sir, she started. Sir, I could not get any one of them. What to do now? The anger had gone. She started, sir, see, this is my problem. You have to help me. What to do? I again gave one chief engineer's number, and also told her, if nothing happens because it's heavily raining outside, they would have gone for some repairs. The engineers say they may come back, you give a complaint and all that. Then finally I had to talk to somebody, and after that I didn't get the call. Perhaps she would have got the right person, and her problem would have solved out. See, if at all I did one thing, it is none of my business, I put the phone down, what would have been happened? She would have got a lot of disrespect to the government companies. All government companies are doing like this, and that impression which I avoided. I know that it is not my job, but patiently being a PR man, I heard her, and it gave us a lot of image building exercise. What I did was, thereby I got a name, my company has got a name. At least in her mind, she thought that at least some people are there in the government who will help us. And so you have to create such an impression with the public that without any hesitant, you have to talk to them politely, you have to understand them. See, they are laymen, they do not know who is who. Everybody is when they see electricity board, they think I am also part of it. Yes, we are part of the, they may be, I am the other side of the coin, but still we know they are the laymen, they do not know about the organizational setup. We generate power, they distribute one supplies and all that. Common people, we will have to help them. See, that is how we must bring the proper communication should start from that, and then they will also realize. So, at least that kind of so why I told this communication, this is also a way of communication. We will have to tell whatever you want to tell, you have to think before you are talking, and you have to listen. I think one of your speakers were telling that everything has to before you do anything, you have to think why we are doing, what kind of impact it will we will get on this issue. All these kind of things are very necessary for a PR manager or a communicator. Think before anything, just bursting out, it is not good for a communicator. He has to listen to anyone patiently, even if they are wrong. With the smile, we will have to face them, listen to their problems, because we are there, communicators, either it is writing or talking or managing the whole show, anything. Communicator has to have such kind of patience and smiling issues. All this comes under their qualities. There I will end, and tomorrow I am going to speak on communication skills and digital management, digital era, all these things. Thank you so much.